Welcome to the Monster Slayer Bestiary, where we hypothesize how to fight pop culture's greatest monsters. I'm your host Red King, and today we're going to be talking about torophobia in monster form, the Ushi-Oni. The Ushi-Oni, meaning ox demon, is a yokai found in Japanese myth that takes a few different forms, but for this video, we'll be using its most famous form, a giant six-legged spider with an ox head attached, which has a slender tongue and the ends of their feet are blades. The Ushi-Oni is said to be found on the shores of Japan, and attack and eat anyone who they find. They are said to be incredibly brutal and have savage personalities, and to top off the fucked up, they spit poison, because of course they do. They are also not above joining up with other yokai to kill you, such as the near Onna, which, thankfully, I'll be mostly ignoring that, because I don't feel like researching more than one yokai at a time. The near Onna is easy though, just don't take the baby. That's not a joke. Anyway, back to the actual creature you actually want to know how to beat. So, let's begin by talking about its capabilities. So, pretty obviously, spider bodies are not supposed to be that big. Spiders don't even have a circulatory system. You know, the thing that allows you to move the oxygen from your lungs to every single organ and not die of asphyxiation. So, yeah, obviously this thing wouldn't be able to survive without magic. So let's actually assume this thing can live. That has other issues in terms of movement. Spiders basically move through a system of hydraulics. They have something called hemolymph that acts as both their blood and their hydraulic fluid. There's a reason nothing larger than an insect uses hydraulics as a way to move, because the pressure needed to move like that would be near impossible to replicate on a real creature. Because of this, a creature the size of the Ushi-Oni would simply collapse and be unable to move. But if we assume that the Ushi-Oni could move, then the blood pressure it would have will be astronomical, and mean a single cut would spurt out blood from it like a Kurosawa movie on steroids. Now, before someone in the comments points it out, yes, the Ushi-Oni would have blood, not hemolymph. This is because in multiple myths, they are said to bleed, and in fact in one story, a Ushi-Oni bled for 7 days and nights. So, let's say for the sake of this video that they can exist, even with all the biology issues. How do we kill them? Let's start off with some armor. The Ushi-Oni's main weapons are the blades on each of its legs, their horns, and the poison spit. Let's start by nullifying the poison and getting a mask that covers our face and eyes. Something similar to the mask they use in Gachiakuta. This will stop them from spitting in our eyes and blinding us, while also stopping the poison from getting into our system and killing us. Next will be a way to deal with the leg blades and horns. This should be simple, as anyone who has ever studied weapons will tell you, no blade is getting through a steel plate. The trouble is getting attacked where you are unarmored. A suit of steel will be more than enough protection from an Ushi-Oni, but there is one problem. The Ushi-Oni stay near water. This is a big deal, because suits of armor are heavy, and getting into water with one is the last thing you want, because you will sink to the bottom in a matter of moments. We definitely need the armor though, so in our attack we should find a way to get the Ushi-Oni away from the water. I'll talk about the strategy later in the video. Next is weaponry. As I explained earlier in the video, the Ushi-Oni's blood pressure would be through the roof, so using a bladed weapon to cut it would make it bleed out within moments. Finally! A video where I get to use my sword hyperfixation to kill something, yes! Sorry about that. The best sword for this would probably be a great sword of some kind, but I would use a modified Zweihander. Specifically, see these parts that jut out from the blade? A Zweihander with those moved up a bit could use them similarly to a boar spear, which would mean the Ushi-Oni couldn't get close enough to attack you as it would be stopped by the hooks. This allows you to kill the Ushi-Oni with a lower risk of danger to yourself, and give it a big enough cut, it will bleed out in moments. There is another option if you prefer to be sneaky though. Ushi-Oni don't seem to have any form of enhanced durability or healing factor, which is why the sword works against them. If you wanted to kill them and had knowledge of how to use them, you could use a bow or crossbow to strike from a distance, and if you shoot it in a lethal area, like its brain, then you would win. In fact, there are multiple myths involving the Ushi-Oni of it being killed by a bow, so it's already substantiated by the myths. However, this option is only if you know how to use the bow or crossbow, as if you don't know how to use it, worst case scenario would be you hit it in a non-lethal area and it runs away. This is the worst case, as it would mean you have lost the element of surprise and have to track it down all over again, now with it wanting to kill you. The best case scenario for not knowing how to use the bow is that you miss and it doesn't see your bottom of the leaderboard aim. Either way, don't try to kill it with a bow unless you know you won't miss. Now that we have all our tools needed to fight the Ushi-Oni, let's talk about our strategy to beat it. I'll be going over 2 strategies to beat it. The first is the sword way. After you gear up, attacking the Ushi-Oni straight on is probably your best move. You only need to get one clean cut to be able to beat it, so be careful and wait for a moment to get a good strike in. Also, never have your back against whatever pool or stream of water is nearby, as this will lower your chance of getting knocked into it while wearing your armor. With good timing, you'll be able to beat it quickly. The next strategy is with a bow and arrow, and it is the safer choice. Get up on a high ledge or tree that is overlooking where the Ushi-Oni is, take aim for its head, and pull your best Hawkeye impression by hitting it straight between the eyes. With this, you should be able to beat the Ushi-Oni and save whatever nearby village from its terror. That's all from this video, so remember to like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, this is Red King, signing off.